welcome to another episode of Just a Bit Outside. I'm your host, Steve Ely, and along with me, as always, my co-host, Wes Cook.
Go Birds.
It is Go Birds, man. Good for you this week.
Yes, sir. Get it done. Get it done.
Dude, I thought my boys were going to not get it done against a team they have owned lately.
You're right, I know.
It was
quite
just
surprising.
It was quite scary, to be honest.
I get it.
To be honest, it would be like you watching like the Birds and the Cowboys play a close game, but you know that doesn't really happen for you.
They're usually pretty close. We got them when they were a little banged up, fortunately. So
Yeah,
I think we would still take them regardless because they've been playing so poorly. But yeah, we definitely took advantage of the QB situation.
yeah. Well, I mean, Cooper Rush is not Dak Prescott by no means.
No, sir. But Dak's not really Dak now either, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
well, you know.
Yeah.
He's the highest paid quarterback in the league, so he should be much better. But
Good point. Good point. How'd you do on the bets this weekend?
Same as you did. I missed many parlays by one game.
I did, and then I hit on one. That was nice. I was fortunate with that one. I had Carolina covering. They were the scariest part of that parlay I had, but thankfully they got it, so that worked out well.
That is a very scary one if that's one you were relying on.
It was, but I don't know, thought something about it and went with it, and it hit, and I was like, damn.
No, good for you, man. I mean, I don't normally put money on my own team. I usually try to stay away from it, and then I did it with the Packers, of course.
Man, but the thing is like watching the Bears lose to the Patriots. It's like, this is where this team is going.
Yeah,
you should have felt very good about your team.
I did feel very good.
I had the Bears.
You had the same pick?
I had the Packers covered 6. And, they only won by 1. So
Yeah, it was.
Fuck you, Jordan Love.
I'm not gonna say fuck it. I'm still pretty happy we won. I will say that I saw something a little different in the Bears' offense this week. I think it was more of the scrambling ability of Caleb Williams than it was anything else.
Yeah.
We left him monstrous holes, but at the same time, yeah, we'll take the cheap W. Think.
Well, since college football was what cashed on it for me, let's go ahead and we'll cover this week.
We can cover that this week.
Oregon is a very fortunate number 1 team right now.
Well, I mean, other than Ohio State, they haven't really played anybody.
Yeah, but every game they're playing is tight.
Yeah. Wisconsin was like game.
I mean, they were up 13-6 going into the fourth quarter. Oregon, fortunately, kind of got it together there. I know. Traveling across the country to get that W's, that's a big thing. But man, I tell you, what I thought was probably a clear-cut number 1 team in the nation,
I don't think you are.
Is not anymore. Right? Exactly.
My problem with all of it is, I know Oregon's undefeated. I know there's several one-loss teams, and I don't want to be like that guy, but I'm going to be. I still don't think Oregon beats Georgia. I still don't think they beat Alabama. I don't know if they beat Ole Miss. I don't know if they beat Tennessee. And that's the part that hurts my feelings because
Well, it is the SEC, right? So.
Yeah. But it's still, at the same time, I don't want to be that stereotypical. I mean, if you look at the rankings, it is SEC, Big Ten, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the top 10 is. And it is crazy to me.
I mean, who from the Big 12 are you going to put in?
I mean, I told you that I didn't think BYU was as good as, their record. I think Indiana is a much better team than BYU
But
is.
yeah, but you're talking about the Big Ten again. So
I know. But at the same time, Indiana has been very fortunate. By the time their schedule is done in the Big Ten, they would have played 7 of the bottom 8 teams.
Right. No, that's the worry about Indiana.
That's the worry about these mega conferences.
Well, yeah.
I mean, look at Texas in the
Yeah.
SEC. They literally played Georgia, and then their next best win is Vandy in conference.
In conference, yeah, I guess you would say so. Yeah, I mean they lost to Georgia and they had Vandy in conference, and they get Kentucky this week. But then they do have to travel to College Station.
That's at the end of the year. Yeah, you're right. But I mean, look at Georgia's schedule. Georgia's schedule has been brutal.
It's been brutal, and I mean, well, the thing is, Georgia came out and showed the world they're still for real.
Yeah, no, they're definitely still for real.
The Bama lost and the Ole Miss lost. You know, those are a little bit bloops.
Ooh, I lost to another top 10 school.
Yeah, I mean they were both on the road too.
Well, the thing that gets me about the Ole Miss is the fact that Georgia is actually ranked ahead of Ole Miss, and I'm like, come on, man, they just beat them. They just beat them.
I think it's the strength of schedule.
I get it, but sometimes you have to look at like the head-to-head matchup.
I agree with you, but like with polls and things like that, it's just about what have you done for me lately. You pull off a win like that over a number 7 team in the nation, that's what you get.
Yeah, well, I thought Tennessee was going to be game the first half. Bobby Hill had them rolling. It looked good in the first half. I thought they had a shot. I actually took Tennessee in the points in that game.
You did?
Yeah, because I think I got Tennessee plus 9.5.
I mean, that's a big spread. Still didn't cover, but
no, I mean they covered, but at the same time,
they didn't cover.
I mean Georgia covered.
You said you took Tennessee in the points.
I took Tennessee plus 9.5. Georgia covered.
Yeah, but if you took Tennessee plus 9.5, you're saying Tennessee's going to lose by less than 9.5. They lost by.
No, I understand
12, 13,
that.
14,
I understand
14,
that. What I'm saying is, I thought the game was going to be a little bit closer, and it started out that way.
Well, yeah, no, it definitely did. I mean, Tennessee jumped all over in the beginning.
And then it just went downhill from there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was tied at halftime, and then Tennessee just didn't have anything offensively.
Too many mistakes.
Yeah, offensively.
Too many mistakes.
Offensively, in the second half was miserable.
And who knew Timmy could run like that? As far as Carson Beck and his scrambling ability.
His missing chromosome.
Oh, Lord. I would just like to say I was first.
You were first, and then the meme came.
And then all the memes came.
Then you go back and check the pod episode for that one.
Yeah.
I think you said it probably before this year. You might have said it last
year. I said it last year.
Yeah, I think you did.
I said it last year. But I expected them to play better. But at the same time, it was Georgia's first home game in a month.
Yeah, Georgia did go on a wild road streak, didn't they?
Yeah, they have.
Not really. They played Florida at home.
When?
The week before Ole Miss.
Time up before they bye?
Yeah, it might have been because it was at Texas, then they got Florida at home, at Ole Miss, and then they got Tennessee at home.
I think there was a bye somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah, they might have gone 2 weeks without playing at home because of the bye, but still, they played at home. Yeah, they only had one back-to-back road trip, and that was Kentucky and Bama.
But I don't know. Just the whole playoff scenario, I mean, that should be coming out very shortly.
Yeah, it looks
the new rankings.
Looks like Notre Dame is going to...
I hate that team.
Looks like they're going to make it. They do have Army this weekend.
Well, the thing about Notre Dame is...
Which would be good to watch on Saturday night. I'm excited for that one because go Army.
Yeah, go Army, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Why not?
As much as I would love to see it happen, it's not.
Well,
it's not.
I wonder what the spread is on that one. We'll look into that later.
Yeah, we'll get.
Anyways, Bama took care of Mercer. They had their late season cupcake as always.
Yeah, that was one of my picks. Bama to cover, I think, like 35.5. Okay.
Yep, they did that. They definitely did that.
The game that got me was the Ohio State game. You know, I don't usually put Ohio State on my gambling board.
But it was Northwestern, and they were, 14-point favorites?
They were actually more.
Was it more than that?
Yeah, I think I had, it was 28 and a half.
Was it that much?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that didn't cover.
No, it did not.
Ooh.
It should have.
Yeah, well, yeah, you would hope so.
Northwestern got up for that one touchdown playing in Wrigley. They had to play in Wrigley. They couldn't play in that, no offense, that bum stadium they're using for the moment.
I mean, it's a cool stadium. It just doesn't fit a Big Ten crowd.
No.
It's-
I think it
yeah.
only sits like 25,000 or something
Right.
like
Yeah,
that.
you gotta have something more prominent for the big time matchups.
Well, you can't get much more. Why are they playing Wrigley?
Maybe it was just some kind of.
Was it
special
because the
event.
Bears had a home game on Sunday? Probably. They couldn't play in Soldier.
That could be it.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hoping it is. But I like.
But I mean, you've seen them turn around a stadium in less than 24 hours.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I don't know what it is.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You are talking about, Soldier Field is a natural grass stadium, so like.
It's one of the shittiest fields in football.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the oldest,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, it's what? Soldier Field, Lambeau,
Yeah.
Arrowhead, and Orchard Park for the moment, I believe.
I think you're right.
I think everybody else has new stadiums.
Or fairly new.
Oh, well, it's kind of crazy. I mean, the Panthers Stadium is how old?
96 is when
Yeah,
they
you're looking at
97?
almost 30 years old now, which is insane.
Well, I mean, they're looking to either renovate or.
They are renovating.
Yeah.
They approved, like I think you and I sent you the meme where they're talking about like the big screens outside the stadium and all that. Like it looks cool.
Yeah. Now I just put a product in it worth watching.
They'll get there, man. They've made some mistakes. They made mistakes at coaching. They made mistakes in drafting.
Huge mistakes in drafting.
Yeah,
And trading.
yeah, for sure.
All right. Genty was out in effect again this weekend. 32 carries, 159 yards, 3 tutties.
Set the Boise State single season record
Yeah.
this weekend.
Still climbing.
And
He's got 2 games left in the regular season.
if you count, because they're going to be in it, they're at this point, are they kind of almost locked in, barring some kind of crazy mistake, as the group of 5 team, right?
I mean, you would assume so. I mean, they were in it last week, right? Or actually, nope, they're in it this week. They are the 12 seed this week.
I think they were the 12
Oh, wait,
seed
no,
last
they're
week.
the 4 seed. Excuse me.
Are they the 4 seed right now?
Yeah, they are the 4 seed this week.
How is that possible?
I'm looking at the standings now. Let's see. BYU's still in.
You talking about the playoff predictor?
Yeah.
Predictor?
Based on the latest rankings, this is what we're looking at. You're looking at BYU as the 12. Ohio State. Well, I'll just read it from the bottom out. Your second team out is SMU. First team out is Tennessee. 14 seed is BYU. The 13 is Boise State. However, they would get the 4 seed because they're going to be a conference champion with a better record.
That is.
Georgia's the 10. Oh, wait, never mind. That's college football rank. Yeah, that's right. The playoff rank. Okay, so Georgia would be 10, but they'll be the 11th seed. You have Ole Miss at 9. Ole Miss would be the 10 seed. Miami at 8. Miami's going to be a 3 seed. Bama at 7. They would be a 9 seed. But we're looking at 8-2 record there, so that would make sense. And they're projecting right now Texas to win the SEC. So
Yeah.
they would have the 2 seed, and of course Oregon would be 1. Ohio State is number 2, and then number 2, but they would bring in the 5 seed because I guess they're gonna that doesn't make sense though, because if Ohio State's projected to win they're projecting Oregon to win the Big Ten. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Texas, of course, and I said Miami to win the ACC.
Yep.
You're going to squeeze Notre Dame in without a conference championship to play in, so they would be the 8th seed.
Yeah, here's the thing. They have
Indiana would be the 7th seed.
Indiana
And
would
Penn
get a
State-
home game.
Penn State would be the 6th seed.
Indiana would get that home playoff game,
Yeah, so
which
you're
is
looking
something I'm kind of looking forward to.
at Ole Miss at Indiana. I would like to see that.
I'd like to see it too because it's
Ole
going to be
Miss covering.
it's going to be in the weather.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, it's going to be in the weather. Georgia would have to play on the road at Penn State, according to this.
Yeah, I saw one.
Bama on the road at Notre Dame.
Oh, I'd be down with. I'd be so down with
BYU on the road at Ohio State. All four matchups are going to be in the weather.
Yeah. That in
as it lays right now.
That, in my opinion, kind of makes the playoffs a little more interesting because
you get those home games, yeah, and for a college football playoff game, it's going to be rowdy.
Well, I mean, look at the dates when these games are going to take place. You're talking about early January, late December, first weekend. You telling me there ain't going to be snow somewhere up there?
Oh no, there definitely will be. Yeah, no, you're gonna have football weather for the playoffs.
Something that unfortunately that Bama doesn't ever really deal with. Georgia doesn't ever.
The SEC
no, they don't deal with it at all.
Yeah,
which could
unless they draw that late November game against Kentucky, but that's usually Louisville. So.
Yeah, I mean that could change the scenario a little bit for these teams.
So maybe Knoxville, but and Knoxville is near the mountains, so that would be more like it. I get it. I mean, you're Boise State's your wild card here.
Yeah. I mean, they gave Oregon everything they could take.
They did. Everybody is right now. Though.
Yeah. Unfortunately, everybody is.
But I mean, that does improve the strength of a loss for them a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I did see where the Big Ten did announce today that Oregon has clinched a spot in the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah, they only have one more game left.
They've only got one more game left. There's no scenario. I think it's 8 out of the 10 tiebreaker scenarios. Oregon would still be in the playoff in the Big Ten championship game.
You got Ohio State and Penn State still to play.
Ohio State plays Indiana this weekend.
Oh wait, Indiana, that's right.
And
Penn
then
State
they have
actually doesn't play any.
They've got Minnesota next.
Yeah.
And then I don't know who after that.
Penn State has Minnesota and Maryland left. Maryland's awful.
Yeah. Minnesota's not great.
So really, you got Indiana and Ohio State that'll probably vie. If Ohio State loses to Indiana, Penn State will probably get in. Indiana's going to miss. Well, no. Yeah.
They're saying, if I read it correctly, the article is on ESPN. I think Indiana plays in the championship game if they beat Ohio State and beat Purdue.
Okay.
I think is what I read.
Well, Indiana's undefeated, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense then.
Yeah,
For some reason, in my mind, I'm thinking of a one-loss scenario, but they're not. So Indiana's got to beat Ohio State to get in.
Yeah.
Indiana loses, Ohio State is likely to get in because they beat Penn State head-to-head.
Yeah.
And they would have the strength of the win-loss over Penn State. They have the tiebreaker over Indiana and Penn State. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So if Indiana wins, they're in as long as they win the last two.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
There's a very, very short opportunity for Penn State to get in.
That is correct.
We're going to need one of those two teams to fall outside of.
It would take Ohio State losing to Indiana and Michigan for Penn State to get it. And Indiana losing to Purdue.
No, because that would be Ohio State's second loss.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
If they lose to Indiana.
Yep. If they lose to Indiana, Ohio State's out. Yep.
Penn State just has to win their last two. It needs Indiana to beat Ohio State or hope Ohio State loses to Michigan. And then they would need to lose to Purdue, which ain't happening.
No, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
That ain't happening. And you got to look at some of these
Or I guess the other way for Penn State to get in is if Ohio State beats Indiana.
Loses
and
Michigan.
loses to Michigan.
Yep.
Which that's probably not happening.
I don't think that's happening here. Honestly, I think it's going to be Ohio State and Oregon
Yeah.
in the Big Ten championship. Fantastic year for Indiana, no matter what. As of right now, I still, I don't think they beat Ohio State. I still 11-1 for them. I mean, they rewarded their coach this weekend.
Yeah.
With a monster deal.
As well deserved.
I don't know if it's that well deserved. You got your team with 10-0. Ooh, here in your first year. I get it. You played the weakest schedule you possibly could play.
I get that, but I mean, it's still deserved in the fact that you didn't expect this out of a year one coach.
Yeah, but $8 million a year plus $1 million retention bonus.
But you gotta think about this.
So 9.
College football is so damn competitive right now. When you think you've got something, you gotta bite on it because.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
This guy can leave Indiana at any moment.
Yeah, but that's my whole point. Hey, they're throwing all this money at a guy that,
Well, think about it. You gotta throw some money at him because guess who's coming knocking next year?
LSU, Florida State. Well, Florida State's not going anywhere. Norval's staying for next year.
Like solidified.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's staying. I don't know how, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be there.
Okay, but I don't think it'll be LSU. They're not going to fire Brian Kelly.
I mean,
I can't imagine it. Right? You can't. You can't imagine that.
Why can't you? Why can't you?
I mean,
where's LSU in these football rankings?
Well, I mean, if you look at LSU's schedule, it was not a very easy road.
No, but LSU expects excellence.
They do.
It's kind of, but you and I have talked about.
Well,
this.
Florida's probably looking for a coach.
No, they've already announced that he's coming back.
They did?
I don't know why.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I mean, all he does is lose.
He would be gone. I mean, all honesty,
Kentucky could be looking for a coach.
Florida is a.
Fuck it, yeah, we'll get him.
Florida is a sleeping giant, bro. To be honest.
They are. They just need the right coaching staff in there. They don't have it. I don't know why you would announce this early that you're going to bring a guy back. Let's see how they finish out the year.
I mean, I will.
Right? Okay, great. They beat LSU this year. Tell me another good win on this resume.
They've had decent. I'm not going to say they competed in some games they probably shouldn't have.
Well, the Tennessee game was tight, right? But I mean, they weren't competitive against Texas. They weren't competitive against Georgia. They weren't competitive against Miami.
Yeah, but there's a lot of teams that ain't competitive against those guys. You know? But anyway. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know why they would bring him back. It sounds awful to me. Because they're not good, no matter what.
Right.
I don't know why they would bring him back. I read some articles earlier in the year that Florida was eyeing potentially trying to steal Lane Kiffin away from Ole Miss.
Yeah, we're playing musical chords right now. Why won't you just take the truck?
Don't be scared.
She mean.
Ain't that the truth? But anyway, there was like stuff earlier talking where Florida was going to potentially steal Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss, which would be a monster move for them. Because he's the kind of guy that can come in and do something there. I mean, you and I have talked about it. I mean, look at the job he's done at Ole Miss.
But why would he leave now?
You tell me Florida's not a better spot to be than Ole Miss?
I would imagine so, sure.
I mean,
I agree with that.
He's already got recruiting ties from his FAU years.
I know.
And he's already a good recruiter on top of that.
I know the point you're making. I'm just saying.
Why would he though?
Why leave what you already have established to rebuild in a program like Florida within, the same damn conference you're already in?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he would.
I would take a more. He's in a place where he can just wait waited out till the perfect opportunity arises.
I don't think there's a perfect opportunity for him. I like him where he's at.
So
Me personally, Florida State should have hired him before Ole Miss did.
I agree with you.
I would have loved to see that. He would be smoke showing the ACC right now. I promise you. I promise you. He wouldn't be 1-9 or whatever Florida State is right now.
No,
there's too much talent on that Florida State team to have that record they have. I don't care about their quarterback situation. There's too much talent everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is just, which is, again, why they're going to keep Norville. I don't know.
Blows my mind.
I don't know. I didn't realize Illinois was still 7-3. Look at them.
I mean, they're playing pretty damn good football.
I know, poor Army, man. They catch no breaks ever. Undefeated and still only ranked 19th. Yeah, but it is what it is. I just feel bad for teams like SMU, who's undefeated in the ACC and still, outside looking at.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be where I get a little weird. I mean, Clemson's sitting right there, too.
But really, I mean, SMU hasn't played the most difficult schedule in the ACC.
No, they haven't. They haven't
had to match up with Clemson or Miami or even Syracuse for that matter. They did draw Louisville. They did draw Pitt. But, I mean, you're looking at Florida State. That was a W.
I mean, everybody beat Florida State. Hell, Carolina beat Florida State. And actually beat them badly.
SMU's one loss is to BYU.
Yeah.
And it was by 3.
Yeah. BYU dropped to where they're ranked behind them now.
Right.
So, I don't know.
They lost to Kansas, so.
What I do know is I think the playoff committee is going to try to squeeze 4 SEC teams in it, no matter what. I personally think a 3-loss Georgia, 3-loss Alabama is getting in the playoffs still.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I get it. I understand why. But, how long?
They're going to be more competitive than anybody else you throw in there. You know this.
I do know this.
Because otherwise you're going to end up with a scenario where you're TCU.
All right, well, how about...
Or Cincinnati.
No, I get that. I 100% get that. But what about the opportunity that, hey, we're missing out on, a Central Florida? Or a Boise State back in the day when they went undefeated.
Central Florida was undefeated that year. I don't think you're going to miss out on that team.
No, you probably wouldn't this year. They would still get in.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, they've made mistakes in the past.
I know what you're saying, but, you were working with 4 teams. Here it's a lot more difficult with the structure that they have with the 12-team playoffs.
I understand that. But you can make an argument every year, and it's going to happen with this too, that somebody else should have been in.
Yeah.
Because they're already talking about, if one of these SEC schools miss out, they would still be a touchdown or 2 touchdown favorite over Boise State. Or over, a Miami or an SMU or a BYU.
Yeah.
Colorado for all that. They are in the driver's seat for themselves to make the playoffs too.
Yeah, they just got to win out.
They got to win out. That's all they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not saying...
I know they would love to have Dion in this playoff.
Oh, yeah.
You got to imagine just the excitement that's going to be there for this team that, team, there's a lot of people that love to hate it because of just how cocky that team is. But, what do you expect from a Deion Sanders coach team? They're going to have that swagger. They're going to be in your mouth talking shit. That's what it's about.
Well, the thing that's got me about them is their biggest weakness last year wasn't their offense. They could put up points.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't stop anybody. And this year, their defense is way better, like extraordinarily better. And then as the season has progressed, it's gotten even better than it started.
Yeah, it's all coming together for
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're doing good things there. And I even saw an interview after the game, and he was talking about one of the freshmen who had a big game this weekend, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he's a freshman." They said I couldn't recruit.
But he can. We've seen that. I mean, look at what he put together last year in Colorado, and then turned it around year two. Like
Yeah, yeah.
after losing 40 players.
And now they're in. You saw the number 2 quarterback prospect decommitted, or the number 2 recruit in the country decommitted from USC this past weekend. And Colorado is actually
In the mix.
in the mix. Probably the favorite for him, to be honest.
Man, like, people want to play for Dion. I get it.
I mean, think about it, dude. He's going to come in and start.
Why would he?
I mean, Shador's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, you're at a point now where some of these highly talented freshmen, you just got to roll with them. I mean, look at Florida and DJ Lagway. I mean, they look like a different team when he's on the field with them. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so this week's matchups, we have, of course, the big one's going to be Indiana at Ohio State.
At noon.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
Yeah, you'll be here, so we'll be able to.
We will. We will be watching that one heavily.
Yeah, that one's going to be on the main screen for sure.
Yeah, I find it so hard to watch that game.
Well, I mean,
I know.
I do too. I don't know who to pull for.
Oh, I know who to pull for.
It's Indiana. It'll be one of the few times I do.
Well, I know your hate. Yeah, I know why you hate Indiana. That goes back to the whole Kentucky thing. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly why you hate them. But at the same time, man, it's for me in college sports. There are 3 teams I can't stand. One being Ohio State, one being Notre Dame, the other being Duke. And even Duke, I will say that, hey, I like things they do, but I don't like them. I don't want them to win ever.
I get that.
But, I mean, I am pro Indiana this weekend all day long. Spread's 13.5 in that game, by the way. I think I'm taking that 14. 13.5.
Yeah.
I may buy the half a point for the 14.
Indiana's going to compete no matter what.
I hope so.
This one's going to be tight. I don't think it gets that kind of out of hand.
Dude, what's sad? Indiana rolls up in there.
This is their opportunity. This is an opportunity to prove that they're worthy of the ranking, worthy of the record, and now, I mean, there is that small chance that they get rolled.
There's that small chance.
But I'm going to lean on the side that Indiana keeps it competitive.
Well, here's the thing. I saw stats this weekend. Indiana's I believe they're one of the top 10 offenses, one of the top 10 defenses, but their strength of schedule is really weak.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a blind comparison between 2 teams. It was them and Georgia last year, who you and I talked about it before last season. Georgia had the easy SEC schedule.
Right.
I mean, yeah, they played Tennessee. They played Florida. But they had the weaker side of that conference.
I get it.
Which, I mean, it's going to happen for them in the near future. It's going to happen for Alabama in the near future, where they're going to get the weaker side of the schedule, considering there's no conferences. That's going to be the downside to these super conferences.
Well, yeah, someone's going to draw the easy schedule every year. Someone's going to get the benefit of the doubt, right?
Well, I mean, just think, Ohio State's going to get that schedule, except their hard game's going to be Michigan. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, look at Michigan this year. Michigan ain't Michigan.
No. But, I mean,
they're rebuilding. They're retooling.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost a lot off of the national championship team. So, their depth isn't quite there yet.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how well Indiana's rush defense holds up against Judkins.
Yeah.
And if they can contain Smith on the outside.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of other really big matchups to really keep an eye on. Georgia gets their cupcake this week in Massachusetts.
I mean,
Tennessee gets UTEP.
Ole Miss and Florida might be one of the better games, maybe. I mean, Florida has played a little better lately, and it is in Gainesville. I mean,
Clemson has the Citadel.
Ooh.
South Carolina gets Wofford.
Yeah. BYU and Arizona State is this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Big 12 matchup. It doesn't have a whole lot of implications. I guess the only other big matchup that I care about, we talked about already, is at 7. That's the Notre Dame Army game.
The Arizona State BYU is a little more impactful than you think. I mean, Arizona State is a 2-loss team at the moment.
Correct.
They are sitting right there in the Big 12 mix.
But it has, I guess, Big 12 implications, right?
Yeah. It has playoff implications, you want to be honest about.
Well, yeah, because somebody in the Big 12 is getting in.
Yep. Colorado, Kansas this weekend.
Kansas just slightly made a name for themselves. They're going to play that one at Arrowhead.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I mean, have you looked at Kansas's schedule, though? Not that you probably really have.
I haven't.
Take a look at their schedule. I know they haven't won, but I feel like they've lost like 5 one-score games.
They have lost 5 one-score games. They've been in everything they've played.
Every game they played.
TCU beat them by 11.
Yeah, that's the only one.
But, I mean, you got to look at their wins, right? Lindenwood, who? Who's that?
No, I get it.
Houston, which we knew was going to be awful. I didn't think Oklahoma State was going to be the worst team in the Big 12.
Oh, who knew that was coming?
I did not expect that.
They did beat ranked
No,
Iowa State.
we did pick Utah to win, but
Yeah.
there's a reason for that.
Yeah. I actually thought it was going to come down between Utah and Oklahoma State, if I remember correctly.
I think we talked about Oklahoma State being competitive here.
Yeah.
I'm kind of assuming Oklahoma State masked up some injuries or something.
Something happened there.
Yeah. I mean, something happened there for them to be 0-7 in this conference.
Tell you what they ain't doing. They ain't playing like mans. They ain't playing like men's.
I'm 40.
I'm 40. I'm a man. Well, I love that guy.
Yeah.
Love that guy. But then their last 2 games, they've knocked off 2 ranked teams.
They have. Both in one. No.
Iowa State had lost before.
Yeah.
That game, but I mean that's still. I mean, you take a couple of those wins. I mean, one score games are like, hey, this happened. If we'd have done this would have been our game. We'd have done that would have been our game.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, Kansas could have been in this, which we talked about them being a top 4 team in this conference.
Yeah, we did.
They're not, but those close losses have kind of spelled them for the difference between what is, a possible conference championship matchup and where they are in the middle of the Big 12. So.
But other than that, there's not really.
Yeah, not much going on. And like I said, we covered the latest in college football playoff ratings. So
the new
rankings.
Was that the brand new today playoff rankings?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Oh, come on, man. How you forget number 6 Notre Dame and 19 Army? How you forget that as far as a primetime game? They get.
Well, I said it. I just said it like 5 minutes ago.
And they get it in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, it is in Yankee Stadium. I like that.
I like it too. Other than that, that's pretty much it for the college slate this weekend, or games that I'm actually interested in.
You want to talk about the Louisville DB who got arrested for strangulation and.
Was it what was the other charge?
And a domestic violence assault.
What was the I'm not trying to even make light of it, but what was the ridiculous charge that we had to look up?
Oh yeah. You looked it up on my work computer. I appreciate you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I needed to know what it meant.
Yeah, I know. It's just not the place to look for it, but all right, that's cool. That's cool.
Hey, man, you have a viable excuse. It is recorded of how it got there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Plus, what are they gonna do? Fire me?
No, it'd just be me, but I got it. That's cool. Yeah. All right, on to the bread and butter that makes the show go, what makes it tick. And I'm pissed because I lost the fantasy matchup by 0.04 points this weekend.
Yeah, that's
I
not
needed
good.
one more yard out of Nico Collins as I sat Taysom Hill and T. Higgins on the bench in that flex spot instead. And really kicking my own ass.
Hey, man, that's what happens, buddy. That's what happens.
It blows my mind, man. I just don't understand.
Yeah, but you started off the week with a good win. For the weekend.
No, Thursday night was a good win. I mean, you take sole ownership of the NFC East.
Mm-hmm.
The Birds took care of business. It took a little while to get it rolling, but we did. We ended up getting there. And
you guys did what you should do all the time.
Yeah. That's, I mean, what we should do all the time. Feed Saquon, feed Saquon, feed Saquon. I mean, it's so easily done at this point.
I mean, you've got one of the best offensive lines in football, which you do, and you've got arguably top 2 running back in the league. I mean, it's not even arguable. Right you're a top 2.
Him and Derrick Henry killed it right now.
Yeah, so,
showing you old dogs can learn new tricks.
Ooh, man.
Yeah.
But I just don't get it. I don't get it. I heard something this week, and it's not often that I agree with this person, but they were talking about the Eagles and their offense and how it goes, and
slow starts,
and some of their coaching decisions that are made.
Oh, like not kicking it?
Yeah.
I think we saw plenty of reason why we don't kick it this week.
Jake Elliott's usually a pretty...
I know, he usually is solid, but he missed...
Look at Justin Tucker.
Yeah, Justin Tucker on the struggle bus too. Like, the yips have taken a hold of those two guys bad.
But the whole thing was, the whole thing I saw, it was the question that was brought up, and it's not that Sirianni has done a bad job. He's done a very good job. He's been a very good coach, except for the end of last year. But the question was, with a little better coaching, where would they be? And then it was more so, where is he in the hierarchy of coaches in the league?
We've talked about it before. So, with Sirianni, if he's not your coach, you're going to hate the guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even when he is your coach, there's times you hate him just because of some of his antics and shit on the sideline. But, like, he is an awesome motivator, and guys do love to play for him.
No, I'm not disagreeing that.
So, in that aspect, he's great. But when he's putting his hand into the play calling, the schemes, and things like that, that's where things get a little bit dicey. And I don't know, is he the one to truly blame for the slow starts on offense, or do we blame Kellen Moore? I mean, because the thing is, year over year, we used to get off the hot starts, right?
Yeah.
We'd score early and often, at least in the first part of the season last year before the epic collapse.
Yeah, he started taking over that near the end, right?
Yeah,
during the collapse, that was him.
It was a little bit of everything, really.
Okay.
But I mean, you see the OC of Washington. That's Brian Johnson. He was the OC last year for the Eagles,
and he's done a fantastic job there.
He's done a great job. Yeah, I mean, with limited weapons, and I mean, he's doing a fine job.
Well, you say limited weapons. I mean, they've got developing weapons.
They do. I mean, I'll tell you, the drafting well has helped the Eagles a lot. I mean, and I'm pointing directly at Quinyon Mitchell because he locked down Scary Terry.
They didn't even look his way. What, do you have one target all night?
He had one catch, and he was on the other star rookie corner.
Dijon?
Dejean.
I like him.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of him. I'm a big fan of both of them. I like that we're locked up at corner for a few years now.
That was arguably the two best corners in this draft.
Yeah, stole them both.
Stolen both, as you should have.
I like it. I'm happy.
But it just.
But with Sirianni, I don't know, man. He's different. I like him as a motivator. I like him as a player's coach. But really, and if you look at his record, it's really hard to argue it, right?
No, it's really, and that's my point. It's hard.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, they legitimately had one of the worst meltdowns in NFL history last year.
They did.
I mean, if not the.
You don't have to remind me.
I know.
I experienced every single one of those games.
I know you did. And it's not reminding you, but like it was just the whole like questioning. It's like, where does he line up in the coaches' rankings at the moment?
I don't think you could put him in like the top 5 or top 6 of that,
Yeah.
But it is a top 10 guy.
I think he's top 10. I think he's near the bottom of the top 10.
Yeah, I think that'd be a fair assessment for him, especially until he, patterns together some playoff success.
Yeah.
Is really what I want to see.
Yeah.
Granted, went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I mean, a couple play calls, a couple flags short of being in the right direction for the Birds.
Oh, absolutely.
But, it's not... I guess a lot of people could say that about a Super Bowl, but it's... you gotta count him up there because he's made the appearance at least. Look at Zach Taylor in Cincinnati. What do you think of him as a coach?
I like Zach Taylor. Their defense is awful.
Their defense is bad this year.
It's awful.
It's really bad.
Honestly,
the reason they're so bad is that defense, because the offense is kind of clicking.
Dude, if they had a winning record, Joe Burrow would probably be. You could argue him for your MVP.
He's slinging it.
He's leading the league in passing, leading the league in passing touchdowns,
and very minimal on the interceptions.
I think he's only had 4.
Yeah.
I think it's 27-4. Is his touchdown to pass, touchdown to interception ratio.
Pretty impressive work, man.
Yeah. It's not their defense. It's not their offense. It's their defense. But they do start slow on offense. I didn't watch any of the games Sunday. Well, I say I didn't watch any. I watched enough for me to think this game was over. I'm done. And I went to bed, and then I woke up at, old man 3 a.m, had to piss and check the score. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
But, I don't think he's terrible. Are there coaches that I do think is awful? I think Mike McCarthy is awful. And he's a Super Bowl winning coach.
Mike McCarthy really hasn't changed his philosophy on football over the years.
Yeah.
And hasn't really adapted. And that's why you see what you see out of Dallas.
Well, that's the thing. I'll give Andy Reid all the credit in the world for it.
He adapts.
He adapts.
Absolutely.
He adapts. Are they struggling on offense this year sometimes? Absolutely. They should have minimum 2 losses.
But talk about
Should.
You're talking about Rice being out for the year.
Yeah.
Pacheco's been out
Yeah.
for a stint. They have injuries on that offense that are hurting them. Kelsey's showing his age a little bit. It's not
all cut and dry.
Yeah. But
I get it.
You talk about the best of the game right now. It's got to be Andy Reid.
Yeah, I would go Andy Reid.
But granted, he does have Patrick Mahomes, so that is very beneficial. But
at the same time, you could look at organizations. Is Patrick Mahomes in Chicago?
No, exactly. Is he drafted into the situation that doesn't
Right.
him in his style of play?
I'm not saying that anyone, they could have drafted anyone that year and they'd have been fine. I'm not saying that they could have drafted Mitch Trubisky and they'd have been fine. But it is all about the style, the system. It also goes back to Patrick Mahomes played one game his rookie year. The last game of the season because they'd already clinched the playoff spot. That was the only reason he was playing.
But when you talk about what Andy Reid does, Andy Reid he's very good at hiding weaknesses and
exposing weaknesses.
Well, but I'm talking about hiding his own team's weaknesses.
Oh, yeah.
And putting his players in the best possible situation that allows for them to be their best, right?
Yeah.
And then you add in a Patrick Mahomes who makes everybody around him better. You just have a formula for success.
Yeah.
That's what you get there. And then once you become the NFL's darlings, then you start getting play calls and favoritism. And,
Oh God, yeah. You gotta tell me. You gotta tell me.
I mean, you hear Tony Romo. Oh, Chris Collinsworth, for God's sake.
Oh, he's the worst. He's the worst.
Yeah. It's just it gets old, right? It's like, come on.
What's the
There's more to this Detroit Jacksonville game than Patrick Mahomes. It's like you hear it, right? And it's like, come on, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of Detroit, I think that's the best team in football right now.
It's hard to say they're not.
I mean, geez, dude, they put up their second 50 burger for the year.
I mean, we talked about it last week. We still think that's them. They're them.
God.
They are. That's the team, dude. They're good.
The thing that got me is 2 weeks ago, Jared Goff probably played one of his worst games.
What, when they ran the ball nonstop?
Well, I mean, he threw 4 interceptions 2 weeks ago. Like he was awful. He was awful. And they still somehow managed to win that game.
That's impressive.
And then this week, it was just lowered 600 yards of offense.
Right from the get, man.
I mean, it was the perfect team to do it against.
Doug Peterson's seat's on fire, right? I mean, it's like...
Oh, I mean, they are starting Mac Jones.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
And ETN hasn't been ETN. I personally don't. They don't have outside of.
Or a team that was supposed to take another step forward this year, though.
Yeah, but
they took 2 back.
It goes back to why they let Calvin Ridley walk.
Well,
I don't get that. I mean, Brian Thompson Jr. has been fantastic. Don't get me wrong.
Well, Ridley not being there allowed for that.
Yeah, but outside of him, who's done anything? I mean, nobody.
Man, you ain't winning many football games in the NFL scoring 6 points.
No. I mean, it's awful. Yeah. Awful. I mean, and being a Packers fan, it's hard for me to watch that knowing that's what's out there, especially considering they went in Lambeau a couple weeks ago and thumped us too.
Mm-hmm.
In bad weather and everything, which should be our MO.
Well, I mean, when it's raining though, Green Bay's typically not a very good football team. Snow, different story. But when it's raining, yeah, you look at the record, they don't play very well, and usually they have gunslingers and quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I get it. The mistakes are what set up Detroit for success in that game, not so much what Detroit did as a complete game like they did against Jacksonville, right?
Oh,
so
the Jacksonville game.
The Packers equally beat themselves the same way Detroit beat them.
The Jacksonville game, the Dallas game, those 2 games by Detroit are just like, oh God, this is what they really can be. Because they got Dallas full strength. They had Dak. They had CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they had Micah Parsons.
I don't think that would have made much difference.
I don't think it would have made very much difference.
No.
I mean, I just don't.
No.
I mean, I used to question the whole 2-headed monster of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm done questioning that.
You can't question it. It's working.
It's working. It's working. We're talking about coaching hire. Where's Dan Campbell in the mix?
It comes back to the playoff success and sustaining it, right?
I mean, he's getting there.
He's getting there, but, I mean, we talk about Sirianni's been to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's been to the Super Bowl.
Zach Taylor's been to the Super Bowl. Dan Campbell hasn't been to the Super Bowl.
This might be the year, bro.
It could very well be.
It could be the year.
And you know what? Then let's have the conversation. Until then, I mean, is he one of the best in the game at this very moment? Yes, because what he's putting out there on this field on a week-to-week basis looks great.
Yeah.
But we're not going to declare him anything until we see that success in January.
I tell you what I'm really looking forward to. And I don't know how you feel about it. I'm looking forward to the Philadelphia Detroit playoff game. It's coming. It's coming. Like honestly, I don't. It's those two teams in the NFC, and that's it, in my opinion. Like I don't think there's anybody else.
I don't. I mean, I just maybe it's because I critique my team so damn much that I don't feel super comfortable just saying.
If Sirianni will get out of the way and not meddle, and just let Saquon lead the way.
Right.
I mean, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be the Eagles and Detroit in the NFC Championship game, either in Philly, either in Detroit. I mean, it could go either way at the moment.
I think
But there's
the way the Eagles defense is playing right now, that bodes well for that matchup. Because if there's going to be a team to keep Detroit from scoring like they can, I think it can be the Eagles.
It's going to have to be them playing an A game.
But the whole thing comes down to who turns the ball over the most, who has better field position, who has possession the most, who's able to control the clock. And that really is what's going to happen. I think if Detroit turned the ball over 5 times against the Eagles, it's not going to be.
No, they would lose. They would lose.
I think,
they would lose.
I think that's a
100%.
recipe for failure, especially for a team like Philadelphia, what they have the potential to do offensively. And what's funny thing is we really from holding the Eagles back from being what you look at Detroit as is the offense.
Yeah.
And which was going in the year, that wasn't the question mark. It was the defense. It was like, oh, on paper, this offense looks phenomenal. It's going to be.
The defense has been great, but Detroit's defense just been just as good. I mean, they're leading the league in turnovers.
Yeah, and I mean that's an aspect of defense that allows for records like Detroit has right now, and just the pace and everything they have.
I mean, I know I'm probably looking way in advance, but I'm looking forward to that game. Like I think
I don't want to put my team there.
I'm going to put them there. I'll say it. I know you don't want to, but I'm going to say that's going to be your NFC Championship game. Anything less than that is going to be disappointing to me.
I hope it is. I mean, I would love to just be in that position, but once I get there, I'm going to want Super Bowl or bust, and then that's where expectations are all the way up here. And
well, no, as you should.
A Philadelphia fan, I just know it's going to come crashing and burning down here, and it sucks. See, it's just what it is.
Yeah, but I mean, at this moment, and I know you're not going to say it, but at this moment, that's what you should expect. I mean, it's Super Bowl or bust.
I mean, it is every year for an Eagles fan.
I mean,
Super Bowl or bust. Do we have realistic expectations when we know what we're working with? Yes, absolutely. We're not delusional like Cowboys fans. We don't think every year's our year. But we do know when we honestly have the talent on the roster, when we're healthy enough, and we can see our team for what it is.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that needs to be shored up before we have any aspirations of being in the Super Bowl.
But I mean, you're not far from it, bro.
Yeah.
You're not.
All right, we can move on from the Birds. And not everybody wants to hear about the Birds. I do. I love talking.
I mean, I'm talking Birds and Lions
Yeah.
just because I'm trying to ditch the Packers-Bear game. That was awful for me. Awful.
I mean, they still eked it out, right? And that's the important thing. Because ugly wins are better than ugly L's, man. Every time.
This is how bad it was for me. I was so pissed that they had moved the ball and let them get in field goal range that I was already like, I had took the dogs out.
Yeah.
I came back in and they blocked the field goal. What? Like, I didn't even watch it because I was like, oh, this game is over.
Yeah.
It's over. I missed the block field goal. I came in. What did I miss?
All right. So on the equal side of things, we won't get into your game. I mean, we know it was closer than it should have been. let's talk about the AFC side, right?
Yeah.
And we had a matchup that could potentially show up in the AFC playoffs at some point with Pittsburgh and Baltimore. A game that I thought was going to be a shootout, honestly.
It was ugly.
It was ugly.
It was ugly.
It was ugly. And Pittsburgh ended up winning. Justin Tucker didn't do him any favors.
You know what Lamar Jackson's record is against Pittsburgh?
It's probably one of the few teams he has a losing record against.
1-8.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
I mean, the thing is, I think when he plays a formidable defense, which you've seen it this year, right?
Yeah.
With Baltimore, when they play teams with a halfway decent defense, they struggle. The beginning of the year against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The Raiders played outstanding defense. Not that they're a great defensive team.
But they played outstanding defense that game.
They lost to the Browns, and then they lost to the Steelers. And we're talking about 3 of those 4 teams have fantastic defenses. The Browns have a fantastic defense. There's no question about it. I guarantee you top 10, if you put it on paper, look at it. They're top 10
I'm sure they are. Their defense is very good.
Yeah, you might have to break down some of the numbers a little bit, see where they are field position wise, and what Deshaun is put, the situations that he's been put in, or has put the defense in. But pound for pound, the Browns' defense is solid.
Well, apparently this weekend they couldn't stop Taysom Hill, so.
Don't remind me.
I mean, just ridiculous.
Yeah, so they held Lamar Jackson to 46 yards rushing. And only 207 yards passing.
Well, between their 2 best running backs, they barely gave up 100 yards between him and Derrick Henry, which is just insane. Insane. Good on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, I don't know what it is. Mike Tomlin's just got magic. I still don't know about the Russell Wilson thing. I get it. He's a better deep ball thrower than Justin Fields. But it's, they're winning.
Should have they won this game though? Like if you had normal Justin Tucker in there.
Oh, they wouldn't have won this game.
Right?
He missed 2 field goals?
Yeah, he was 1 of 3. One of them was like a chip shot, like 40 for him, 44 yards.
Yeah.
It's like, that's nothing. He's connected on this.
Yeah.
I think that was his first missed field goal under 50 yards in like multiple years.
Yeah, I just don't get it. He's just so reliable. He's the first kicker taken in our draft every year.
Yeah.
And it's usually ridiculously early for a kicker, in my opinion.
It's always like the 8th round because someone's like, "Ooh, I got to fill out my starting lineup."
Yeah.
It's like, I will go week to week picking a new kicker off the waiver wire.
Yeah, me too. I don't think I ever draft a kicker. I think I go with draft.
I'm pretty sure that's right. I think you just go unless it gets to in this league, of course.
Yeah.
It gets a little ridiculous. So.
I can pick up a kicker.
Yeah. I can find a kicker and he's going to give me some points.
I think I've started 4 or 5 different kickers.
Sometimes it happens with defense too. You end up losing one, and it's like, I guess I got to do this. And here we are.
Oh no, I've been pretty solid with Detroit's defense. So.
No, that's working out well for you. Yeah.
That was God. You start somebody this week. Who'd you start in your defense this week in our league? There was somebody, and I was like, why are you starting them?
Miami?
It ended up working out, I think, for you. But it was just like, huh?
Yeah, nothing worked out for me, and either the fantasy gods did not like me this week. I started, Miami's defense. It was against Vegas, I think. So.
Yeah, it was against Vegas. So, that's not a bad start.
Maybe
it was last week that I was questioning what you did.
Good looks there for me.
But anyway, let's run down these lists. We talked about the Eagles game, talked about the Packers game, talked about the Lions game. Minnesota got back in stride this week with 23-13 over the Titans, who are again god awful. Poor Will Levis and no weapons.
Yeah, you can't really hold Will Levis to anything.
I say Will Levis and no weapon, but they did sign Calvin Ridley, and he has just vanished. He on Broadway doing nothing. Is that what he's doing in Nashville? He hanging out with Shabuzi.
I don't know.
Know what's going on?
Man, I think your guess is as good as mine there.
Dolphins beat the Raiders 34-19. Tua looked fantastic in this game.
I mean, the Raiders didn't get any pressure on him.
No.
He was comfortable back there. He threw the ball 36 times, almost 300 yards.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns. I mean, fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, having a John back or A-Chain, however you say his name.
Dude, I feel so sorry for Brock Bowers. I mean, he is the lone bright spot. Him and Max Crosby. It's it.
16 targets, 13 catches, 126 yards and a tutty.
Well, who else are they going to throw the ball to?
Yeah, I mean.
How many? Who played quarterback for them this weekend? Let me see these box scores.
Gardner played quarterback for us.
And how many attempts did he have?
43.
And almost half of them with the Brock Bauer.
Yeah.
Like, legit. I mean, that is crazy.
Yeah,
Doesn't help they have 0 rushing games. You know, I mean, their leading rusher was Jacoby Myers.
That's not good when your wide receivers lead the rushing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the Raiders. They're 2-8.
Yeah, Brock Bowers had a carry.
Take it.
I mean, it's awful. Brock Bowers had 16 targets. The next highest guy was Jacoby Myers with 6. Who, by the way, reeled in 4 of them for a whopping 28 yards.
Wow. The yak was.
Yeah.
YPC, not yak. But yards per catcher.
I mean, it was awful.
Yeah, that's bad. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of awesome matchups by any means. You look at, you did see the Colts beat the Jets. Jets are in a downward spiral.
Jets are done, bro.
Yeah.
They're done.
I know, of all people, you were one that's loving it.
I am loving it because I knew it was a waste for what they did. It was a waste for what they did last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done. He's washed.
It's over. You gave him his favorite weapon back. He has Garrett Wilson. He has Breece Hall. And that offense can't do anything.
Yeah. I mean, it's bad.
It's over.
And because the offense is so bad, it's putting the defense, which is a pretty good defense in all honesty, in bad positions.
Yeah.
I mean, you gave up 28 points to the Colts, who
Anthony
have
Richardson.
not been good.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy Josh Downs, though, for a good game this week.
Needed that.
All right, now, just Carolina, boy. That's all.
No, I know. I got you.
Just Carolina, guy. That's it.
The Broncos beat the hell out of Kirk
Atlanta.
Cousins and the Falcons this weekend. Bo Nix was on a new level, which is kind of weird, right? Like, I looked at this. I had Baker on a bye this week in fantasy.
Yeah.
Bo Nix was sitting there for the taking. Russell Wilson was there for the taking.
Yeah, you took Russell.
I took Russell Wilson thinking everybody throws against the Ravens. So, and Russ has not been awful being back.
No, yeah.
And Bo Nix has been so up and down, it's been a little bit difficult. Hold on one second.
Bo Nix has been he's been legit. It's kind of sad about me personally. I feel if you look statistically, out of all the rookie quarterbacks starting, Caleb Williams has probably been the worst one.
Yeah.
Just insane. But it'll get better. It'll get better. I mean, Nix was great. Javonte Williams looks like he played well. I don't know why they keep going back and forth on their running backs. Just stick with one and go. Stop the nonsense. You don't have a two-headed monster. Javonte is obviously the better option.
Yeah, I mean, to only get 9 carries in this game while you're running away with it.
9 carries for 59 yards.
Yeah. I mean, but I just didn't see Bo Nix going off
Against
against Atlanta, who was kind of, trying to right the ship here.
Atlanta doesn't have any defense.
Well, yeah. I mean, you clearly see it when Bo Nix throws for 307 and 4 touchdowns on 33 attempts.
But no, they got that first-round quarterback sitting there on the bench. when they could have had what's the kid's name for the Rams? Javon Curse.
Not Javon Curse.
It's
Freak.
It is not him. It's it is Curse though, right? Hang on.
I mean, you can look it up.
I'm looking it up.
But I mean, the Broncos are always hit or miss anyway.
Jared Verse, my bad.
Yeah.
That guy who has been a beast.
Yeah. I just the Broncos, you can't trust them week to week. And Bo Nix, he's up and down, but he's like we've been talking about, way better than we anticipated.
Oh yeah,
so
big time.
Props to him. I just like if I would have picked him up over Russ, I would have
cruised
a lot better in fantasy
Get a cruise
football.
to a victory.
Yeah, see, I just keep shooting myself in the foot with the fantasy picks this week.
Hey man,
They're starting Nico Collins in that other league over, Taysom Hill and.
I would start him over Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill has one game where he explodes every year. One game.
I know.
And this was the week.
Well, T. Higgins would have been a better option too, so I should have just stuck with T. Higgins.
Yeah.
And that was the fence I was fighting. I was like, it's Nico's first game back. Let's hold out on this. But no, made that mistake too. And by one whole yard, I took an L. But here we are. 49ers lose again.
Man, I don't know what's going on with them.
And yeah, I mean it's.
I mean they're right.
I don't even want to bring it up, but I'm just like, part of me's like, are they missing Ayuk that much?
Maybe they are. Maybe they are.
I do not want to give you the satisfaction of being right.
I mean, when Juwan Jennings is your leading target getter and leading receptions. I mean, he is definitely not a number one. I mean,
hey, hold on. I didn't say Ayuk wasn't a number one. I didn't say Ayuk wasn't like a top tier number one.
I'm going to argue at this moment. Obviously, he is.
I pointed it out, damn it. I pointed out you can't stand on this pedestal right now and just talk all your shit.
No, I'm not. You did point it out, but I mean, it's making my opinion of a year ago seem legit.
It does. I mean, I can't argue with it, really. It fucking sucks. Yeah, I mean, I would love to really dive in to see what is the issue here in San Francisco, because I mean they took an L to the Seahawks at home, and I saw Geno Smith scramble in for a touchdown at the end of that game. I was like, holy shit!
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I like it.
That was the second best. That was the second best scramble to end a game all weekend.
Yeah, it was the second best one.
It's kind of sad. I mean, it was a good one, and it's still not good enough to be the best.
Nah, that was the next one with Josh Allen.
Oh.
Josh Allen said, "Nope, not tonight."
This is my game.
4th and 2, and my man is just bulldozing to the end zone.
What, 32 yards?
Yeah,
I think it was.
Just straight beast.
Yeah.
Josh
Got
Allen,
hit twice.
Yeah.
Got hit at the 5, and I was watching it with Jen, and Jen's like, "Oh my God, he's not going to score." That guy. I'm like, "No, he is bullying that little dude."
Yeah, that guy is nothing on Josh
Allen. is 6'6", 240.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's coming in. He's coming in with some heat too.
A 6 foot, 195 pound safety ain't
We're
stopping
talking about some real kinetic energy right now.
Yeah,
he's coming in hot. But
played awesome, by the way.
They did. No, the Bills look good. They are undefeated at home, so that should come as no surprise that they knock off the Chiefs, who should have lost the week before. Sans a fucking blocked field goal at the end of the game.
Well, I mean, they should have lost to Denver. Should have lost to Atlanta. Probably should have lost to Cincinnati. I think the Atlanta game was probably
that
was awful. We've talked about that multiple times. I mean, it's still sitting there in my crawl. Like, it was awful.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, they played great. I mean, that's the kind of matchup you want to see, though. No. Like, honestly, I mean, it's right there.
Yeah. Well, now they brought the Chiefs back down to reality a little bit.
A little bit.
They will vie for a top seed, I think, in the AFC. Really, you probably saw what I think would probably be an AFC Championship match.
Maybe.
I can't put Baltimore up there. I cannot put Pittsburgh up there. Pittsburgh has the record, but from what I see with the eye test, Like Buffalo looks like the deal.
Yeah, they look legit. And I think once Kansas City gets healthy,
Yeah.
like Pacheco is practicing, he'll be back.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no,
he may be back this week.
Yeah, he's coming back. I know Pacheco's coming back.
So then they got
Kareem Hunt's been doing fine.
Well, then you got a two-headed monster.
Yeah.
Xavier Worthy looked good the other day in the schemes they were using him for. Like he looked impressive. Trying to get in the ball in space. Some running touches in a Debo fashion, kind of. But
set up for. I mean,
I was surprised at how little.
Right. Kansas City's gonna be all right. They took a bump.
I was surprised how little Hopkins was involved.
Yeah, he wasn't. It's almost like the defense kind of focused on that connection that Hopkins had with Mahomes this early, and just like, all right, anybody else beat us.
Well, that was the thing that got me is the team in fantasy this week I played. He had Mahomes and Hopkins, and I'm just like, oh, this is not probably going to be good for me.
Right.
Probably not. And then lo and behold,
Bills' defense has been good, and I mean they get up to play these big matchups until it's playoffs, I guess, but. Yeah. I like the look of Buffalo right now. They're definitely trending up.
Yes.
Another team trending up is the Chargers.
Insane.
I mean, they jumped off early and then they let the Bengals crawl back into this one. But the Chargers, man, they're doing something. For a team that I was like, it's going to take them a year to get kind of right, and a couple picks here or there. But the Chargers,
dude, taking an offensive lineman with their first pick was probably a genius move.
Absolutely. Protect Justin at all costs.
And he looked good. I mean, it's just, what more can you say about Harbaugh?
I mean, like coach of the year candidate, year one out the gate.
I think he's locked right now.
You can't lock him. Him.
Wait.
We're halfway through the year.
Honestly, right now, if I'm going to give coach of the year, it's Dan Campbell.
I don't know, man, because you saw how good that team was last year too, especially offensively. Now, are they probably the best team in football? Yes, but I don't think Dan Campbell's done much differently than he did the year before to make them this much better. I just think they have the pieces in the right spots.
Let me draw that back a little bit. I like Dan Campbell. I think he's in the running. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, he's
actually probably the two guys in the running are actually probably Harbaugh and Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn is
I think I think it's them two.
I mean, you gotta put Dan Quinn up there.
I mean he's done a
Washington was going to do what they're
job.
doing.
No,
and no one thought that LA was going to do what they're doing.
I mean, Dan Quinn's
the Chargers are doing it, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's. I mean, Harbaugh just connects with his players.
Yeah, he's definitely a player's coach.
I mean,
guys love to play for him.
Yeah,
he gets the buy-in. He gets the most out of guys. He's getting 100% every week from this team, and I mean that's all you could really ask for at this level.
Well, think about his pro coaching career. He's got arguably the best quarterback he's ever had in the pros.
But how about like the thought? Like he's like, I mean, I know all the shit that was happening in Michigan and what might be coming down the pipeline with all that shit and whatnot. And then that probably led in the direction of him going, back to the NFL.
Yeah.
But like choosing this spot, right? It's like, he saw something in that roster and he's like, I got something.
I can make something here.
I can work with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know. It's another just a dude playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, look, who would have thought that J.K. Dobbins going there would have been as a force that he's been there?
Dude, he's been money.
I mean, he's played fantastic. Played fantastic. That's
yes, sir.
Just insane.
Yes, sir.
Insane. And then we wrapped up the football week with the not surprising blowout of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep, love it. That's great. That's all we have to talk about.
That's all I have to say about it. I mean, it's ugly.
Yeah, it's bad. Sink and ship down there in Dallas. Love it. Fantastic. Keep it up, buddies.
You know it's bad when Cooper Rush's number of 32 for 55 for 354.
Ooh. Love it. Love every bit of it. Couldn't happen to a better bunch.
They're awful.
Enjoy that sinking ship.
They are sinking, considering they said that this is going to be it. Dak's not coming back.
Well, yeah, no, he's
I'm waiting for CD to start complaining about a hamstring so he can sit down.
Yep.
Because it's coming. Honestly, there's no point in putting him out there. I mean,
Wow.
He's arguably your best player.
Give him some reps here or there just so he stays in football shape.
Yeah. Him and Michael Parsons. That's their best players right now.
Parsons about to be out the door.
Parsons keeps running his mouth. He's gonna be way out the door.
I mean, you can't afford him.
No.
You're gonna. I mean, you really after the Dak deal, after the CD deal.
Although
I mean, you can pay Parsons, but guess what? You're gonna have no talent around those three.
Well, you say it can't be done, but look at San Francisco's roster.
Well, San Francisco's pretty much at the very end of all this being able to stay.
I'm aware, but it's
intact.
right there.
This was supposed to be the year. You know, if you're going to do it, now's the time to do it. And yeah, they're going to be in the same boat as Dallas going forward.
Yeah, well,
they're going to be up against it. And you're going to have to let talent go.
Well, Dallas is big. Or San Fran's biggest.
Tell me Brock Purdy ain't a top 5 paid quarterback.
They're going to have to pay him. They're going to have to pay him.
You said it last week. Look at Daniel Jones. Tell me I can't get Daniel Jones money.
Yeah. I mean, he at least gets Daniel Jones money.
Right.
At worst.
Give me Kyler Murray money.
I mean, he's getting top 5 quarterback money.
Yeah.
Period.
It's his turn.
Honestly, he may, before it's all said and done, be the highest paid quarterback.
You're gonna have to pay him. I mean, now the results on the field this year not reflective of it. Is that the Niners bargaining chip with this? I don't know, but
sure does help if he had a number 1 wide receiver, though. Sure would help.
He got paid at least.
He did get paid.
He got paid.
Got paid and then promptly tore an ACL.
Whoopsie.
Good on him.
Yeah.
Get that easy 30 mil.
Right. We got a slate of these games, though, this weekend. Starting Thursday night, Pittsburgh at Cleveland.
Yeah.
Spread on this one is Pittsburgh by 3.5. I mean, what I saw offensively out of this Pittsburgh team, I don't know. I mean, I think it might be closer than we expect.
Nah, 3.5 might be right. They might win 15-9.
You might. Could be the case, bro. Could be the case.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It is that AFC North rivalry game, so.
I like the fact that ticket prices for that are as low as $39. Then you go to Chicago and Minnesota, and ticket prices are $122.
Impressive.
Dude, even like the Carolina-Kansas City game is $125.
At Carolina.
That's
Carolina. All because everybody wants to see Mahomes.
Chiefs, that's it. No.
Maybe Taylor Swift will show up at the box.
That ain't happening.
Nah, I know.
But you know what I do see happening in that game? I see Kansas City whooping ass.
Oh, yeah, they're going to come out meaner than a snake, dude. They're going to be pissed the fuck off.
They're going to be pissed, yes.
Yeah, they're going to come out whooping some ass.
Poor Carolina.
Yeah, they're going to be the whooping boys this week.
What is that?
Spread's only 10.5. Cover.
Yeah, easy. Yeah. Easy cover.
Kansas City covered.
Kansas City may pull the over on them by themselves.
Yeah, I think so. It was 42.5.
Yeah.
I think look for Hopkins over 100 yards. Probably a Kelsey touchdown. I'm just giving some props out there that,
Chris Jones 3+ sacks.
Yeah, I like all these ideas. All right, let's just throw the same game parlay together right now.
Oh,
Yeah, Bryce Young to take 3 sacks.
Mm-hmm. Bryce Young under 175 yards passing.
Yeah, boom. Mm-hmm. Under 100 yards rushing on the game.
Chuba be under 70 yards rushing.
Absolutely.
Good on them for paying him, though. He's been one of the bright spots for them this year.
It is kind of surprising. Like, you do have that bright spot there, but
Miles Sanders be out of there, by the way. He's gone.
Yeah, that $7 million years gone. Well, I think minimal cap hit on this next year anyway, so they're probably fine.
Yeah, I think they gave him all his deal was like kind of like front loaded.
Right, exactly. Let's see. You did mention Minnesota at Chicago. Minnesota's a 3.5-point favorite here. I don't know.
I mean, after this weekend, I don't know.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I could take Chicago plus 3.5 and maybe feel comfortable
at home.
At home.
Yeah, I like them being home dogs. I think taking Chicago plus 3.5 is a good bet.
I am taking Detroit -7 all day against
you. You and me both, and I might take the over on the 49.5.
No, and yeah, for real.
Yeah, I think it's a good bet.
I mean, Lord.
I think it's a good bet. I mean,
that's the most expensive ticket this weekend.
$214. Man, people in Indy will really want to see Detroit.
Dude, greatest show on turf coming in and gonna smoke them.
Yeah.
Going to smoke them.
Don't laugh at me, woman.
You got New England at Miami. Miami a 7-point favorite in that one.
Take it. Miami can score, and we saw it last week.
Yeah, they can.
New England they're on a downward spiral too.
Oh, they're not that bad.
No.
They're not that bad.
They beat Chicago. Come on, get off it.
Yeah, I'm not saying they beat anyone, but they're not terrible. They got an okay defense.
Yeah.
They're still trying to
saving grace. That's it. But the offense, I mean,
they don't have any weapons.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
Zero.
I know what you're saying.
Hell, they just.
I'm talking for this year. Next year is the
Drake May.
The Drake May show.
Drake May's look good this year.
Confusing my Carolina quarterback. Sorry. Mac Jones is the Carolina quarterback. What am I talking about?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah, I'm confusing white quarterbacks. Sorry.
There you go.
There we go. Whatever my excuse is for this, that's what it is.
You got Tampa at the Giants.
5.5-point favorites? Oh, slam it. Slam it. Baker's coming fresh off a bye. Yes, slam it. Slam it.
I'm going to take the
41.5 over under?
No, I'm going to take the over on players that end up hurt on MetLife's turf.
That's pretty easy money right there. I give you that. Yeah, and Tommy DeVito with the start this weekend.
Ooh.
Yes.
Maybe that's who I'll play as my quarterback.
Against Tampa's D? I don't know. I probably wouldn't do that. The next one, Dallas at Washington. Washington's a 10.5-point favorite at home.
I love it.
I love it. I think they might be able to get to 45.5 by themselves. Because this offense, when they play a bad defense, they expose them. They do. And I'm loving my Scary Terry play this week.
Scary Terry's going to look nice this week.
Yeah.
Brian Robinson Jr. probably will look really good this week.
Brian Robinson Jr., I hope you do not have to play him in fantasy because that man is going to go off for $160 and a couple tutties.
Yeah, there's a very good chance.
You saw Joe Mixon last night, and you're going to get the same result right here out of Brian Robinson Jr.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, that anytime touchdown, Brian Robinson Jr., sold.
Yes, sir.
Sold.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we already talked about Kansas City and Carolina. Tennessee at Houston. Houston's an 8-point favorite at home.
I'm taking Houston all day.
Yeah, Houston to cover that, I think. Nico Collins with a week under his belt, fresh back off the IR. I like it. Denver at Vegas. Denver's only a 5.5-point favorite.
I don't know. This feels like the shaky game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get it.
It feels like a shaky game.
I mean, it is Denver. I mean, you can't really trust them week to week on what they're doing. Sometimes they look phenomenal, like last week. And then, they can turn around this week and Vegas will give them a game, and you're like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah, I mean, they are playing at Vegas. That's the shaky game for me. I may stay away from that one.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from it myself. If anything, I think what should result is Denver winning 10 plus. But Vegas knows better than we do as they steal our money week to week. So.
They do. I'm not touching the next game either. After this past weekend, I don't know.
San Francisco at Green Bay. Green Bay a 2.5-point favorite. I think San Francisco is going to be pretty pissed off, but Green Bay should be too. Green Bay was the fortunate winner of that matchup that we all had to suffer through.
Yeah.
But San Francisco doesn't play well in the cold. I'll tell you that.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
I would love to see what the weather is going to be like at 4:25 on a Sunday in Green Bay.
Oh, it's going to be awful this weekend.
Yeah, I got to
No, I mean, like, it's going to be awful. Supposedly there's a
chance of snow?
early winter storm coming through this weekend.
Yeah.
Like Friday and Saturday here, it's only supposed to be in the 40s.
Green Bay money line. Call it right here first. Green Bay money line.
All right. I like it. I can probably roll with
Now,
that.
if it's raining, I might have to back off that bet. But if we got snow, Josh Jacobs, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then we follow that up with Seattle playing host to Arizona.
The Call of Duty Warriors.
Dude, he's actually trying to break the Call of Duty curse.
I think he is, man. He's playing well.
I'm taking Seattle to cover the point.
Seattle looking to go all out and be up there with the Rams for first place in the West.
That West is just awful.
Yeah, what the Rams are 5-4.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
5-5 maybe.
Well, I mean that's what Seattle and San Fran are too.
That is it. Arizona leads that division at 6-4.
6-4. Okay.
And then you got 5-5, 5-5, 5-5.
Yeah, so Philly's gonna go play a home game on the West Coast there in Inglewood. Philly's only a 3-point favorite here on the West Coast here.
It's a scary game for me.
Here's my thing. Philly's had a bye week. Philly's got a long, or basically a mini bye after playing Thursday.
Yeah.
And the Rams have yet to have a bye week.
Philly should win this game. Should.
Now on paper, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's everything we've seen. It should be.
They should win this game.
I think with the extended week, I'd say take the Birds and the points. Give them the points. I mean, it's only a 3-point matchup. You're gonna have a huge Philly presence in the crowd. I mean, I'm not gonna bet the game just because it's my team.
Man, I
may throw it in a parlay and say they cover the 3, but straight up,
I would not want to be the stadium workers at SoFi this weekend.
Why is that?
It's Rams Sunday night, Chargers Monday night.
Ooh, coming back to turning a stadium over in 24 hours. Apparently, it can be done.
Oh, it can be done. It can be done.
No, we've already seen it. That's what I was talking about.
But I mean, at the same time,
Northwestern should have played at Soldier Field.
At the same time, that is all right. Get your ass busy at fucking 1 o'clock in the morning.
It is, yeah. Because you got to get right at it. We got to clean up the stadium. We got to fucking
start changing the turf out.
Yeah, Rams and Chargers quick. Yeah, but man, the NFL really screwed LA on this one.
Yeah.
Baltimore at the Chargers is your Monday night matchup. Baltimore's a 3-point favorite here on the road. Chargers.
I would take Chargers +3.
I'm taking Chargers +3. Chargers look good.
They have looked very good.
Chargers +3.
Chargers +3, maybe the over too.
49.5. I don't know. You saw Baltimore play a tight game with Pittsburgh last week.
Yeah, but
low scoring affair.
Chargers just went over 50 against Cincinnati.
I know what you're saying.
But yeah, that's what I'm seeing there.
I like Chargers +3. Big fan of that one.
Okay, all right. I'm not. I like that too. Ooh, wow, Boise State is number 4 on that thing. What the hell?
I told you.
I don't. Man, all the SEC teams on the road except for Texas.
Ooh, just to go a little off topic here, looking at a little college basketball. Kentucky beat the brakes off Lipscomb. But that's not what I'm oohing about.
What you oohing?
Kansas is playing UNCW right now, and at halftime it is 43-38.
Kansas?
Yep.
Playing better than North Carolina did.
Why?
North Carolina was not so lucky against Kansas at halftime.
Oh, no. But what I'm saying right now, UNC Dub,
Good.
UNC Wilmington.
I know. Our hometown team.
Yeah.
Just insane.
43-38 at half. Now, that'll probably change after halftime. But that's your number one team in the nation right now.
Right?
We saw what those Seahawks did last year to Kentucky. Or was it 2 years ago? Yeah,
It was last year.
Yeah, I thought it was last year.
I think it was last year. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Calipari's last year. Oh, yeah, Arkansas is also struggling, too. So I'm loving it.
I mean, I didn't expect them to come just jumping right in.
Right.
I did see something funny this week. Apparently, St. John's played New Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
At St. John's.
I saw this.
And they're screaming, "Who's your daddy?" And it was the battle of the Caliparis. Oh, not the Caliparis, the Patinos.
Yeah, Rick Pitino and Richard Pitino.
I was like, oh, that's pretty funny.
It was good.
That's pretty good.
It was funny.
Good on that.
I appreciate the crowd being knowledgeable of the situation at hand and exploiting it.
I think St. John's could be a sleeper. I think it's a matter of time.
I mean, Rick Pitino's a good coach. We all know that.
I mean,
he's successful everywhere he goes.
Everywhere he goes.
I mean, there's no question about it. He's going to do all right.
I mean, he went to Iona, for Christ's sakes, and was successful.
Yeah, impressive.
I mean, made it to, was there 3 years? Made it to the tournament all 3 years?
Yep.
May have actually won a game in the tournament with Iona.
Wouldn't surprise me. I don't
remember right
I don't
offhand.
recall Iona basketball history very well. All right.
But I mean,
next week, let's bring a little bit of college basketball flavor to it.
we'll do that. We
We
need to
gotta
get
wrap
into
up.
some NBA stuff, too. We barely kind of touched on
Yeah,
that.
the Sixers suck ass. I know that.
Oh, man, they have not looked good, my friend.
No, they're all full.
Not
Off.
looking good.
Yeah, like I said, no need to sign Paul George.
There was no need.
Better off without him.
No need for that.
Yeah, because it's not equating to success at this point. So.
Oh, we can talk a little NBA because I also read another story. NBA levied a hefty $100,000 fine to LaMelo Ball this week
For what?
for what they called a anti-gay slur in a post-credit interview or a post-game interview. And they win against the Bucks. They asked them how they were going to handle defense with Giannis on the last play. And what he said, and I quote, "We loaded up on him. No homo."
Oh, he said no homo.
Yeah, and they fined him $100,000 for that.
He said no homo.
Yeah, that's what he said.
You gotta call no homo.
But it was
You
the
don't
whole,
want to load up on him.
it was just the context of what he said. And because I saw it, and I was like, what did he say? That was so bad. And then I saw the video, and I was like, that's what he said? They fined him $100,000 for that?
I didn't know people still called no homo.
Well, apparently he does. And unfortunately, I thought it was very funny.
I find it funny.
I mean,
it is.
I don't understand how that's
This country's
anti-homo.
too soft.
Yeah,
Country's too soft.
I mean, that's pretty weak. I mean,
that's weak right there.
but it was just funny to me. I mean, $100,000 for that.
We'll start the Jabbo pod to pay off his fucking fine for him.
Nah, it was just good. Just like, what?
He was just letting everybody know it was not a homophobic slur or in
Yeah,
a homophobic context. He was just making sure you understood he wasn't loading that way.
They were loading up on it. No homo.
Yeah, we're not loading this way, bro. We're not loading up on him like that.
But it was just, I don't know. It was ridiculous, but to me, it was funny. It is where America has gotten too soft. I mean,
Oh God,
Lord.
dude. Yeah, we're so worried about who we're gonna offend anymore. Like,
Oh.
just sit back and laugh at a good joke every now and then.
Dude, we'll be getting hate mail tomorrow.
Yeah, whatever. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Anyway, anything else you want to talk about?
No, man, let's wrap it up. We got Friendsgiving this weekend.
We do.
Maybe we throw a pod together and just throw that one real early in the day.
We might can do that.
We might be able to, or we can get real toasty and then do it in the evening.
Ooh.
On a full belly of turkey.
Well, I've got a DD this weekend, so.
Cold? Got it. All right. So, well, man, until next week, or maybe Saturday, or Sunday, or next Tuesday, whenever the fuck we want to do this thing.
Yeah, we'll get it together.
Yes, sir.
We will get it together. Till then, thanks. Like, follow, subscribe,
All that good stuff.
all the goodies, and till next week.
Yes, sir. No homo.